Hey guys, and welcome back to another Green Army Away Days channel. Today we're starting a new series called the EFL Preview. In this series we'll be looking into Saturday's EFL fixtures in more depth, looking at the odds and predicting the upcoming results. So without further ado, let's get into this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright then, so let's start off in the Championship for our preview, and let's start off in the Championship with the fixture between Leeds and Nottingham Forest. This Saturday's lunchtime kickoff. Now both of these sides will be wanting promotion this season, and they have both had strong transfer windows. SkyBet have priced this game with Leeds at favourites at 8-15. The draw is at 3-1, and the Nottingham Forest victory is at 19-4. Now I fancy Leeds to win 2-1 as they're at home, and Elland Road is a very tough place to go away to, and I think it will work in Leeds' favour. Next up then is the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs that we'll be looking at, and that's Hull City versus Reading. They both lost on the first day, these two sides, Hull to Swansea and Reading to 10-men Sheffield Wednesday. SkyBet have got Hull at evens and favourites for this one. The draw at 5-2 and Reading at 12-5. I think this one will end 1-1, as it's going to be a very tight game between two sides. I predict to have a mid-table finish. West Brom are favourites for their clash against Millwall at 17-20. The draw is priced at 5-2 and a Millwall victory is at 3-1. West Brom by far the better side, and I'd expect a comfortable win for the Baggies here. I'm going for a 3-0 West Brom win. And next up then is Cardiff versus Luton. Now, I think a surprise is on the card in this game, and I do think that Hattoo can come away with a point. We saw what Luton are capable of as they drew 3-3 at Middlesbrough on the opening game of the EFL campaign. And newly relegated Cardiff lost on their opening fixture at the DW Stadium against Wigan 3-2. SkyBet have Cardiff as favourites at 10-11. But I'm going to go with Cardiff 2 and Luton 2. In this fixture, as I fancy Luton to be a dark horse in the Championship this season. And then next up then at St Andrews, it is Birmingham City versus Bristol City. Now Bristol lost 3-1 to Leeds on Sunday at home. Meanwhile Birmingham escaped with a lucky win away to Brentford with a fantastic Pedersen header from outside of the Brentford area. I think Birmingham are favourites with SkyBet at 6-4. The draw is at 11-5, and Bristol City victory is at 7-4. I think this game will end 0-0 with a Bristol City dominance. Next up is Charlton versus Stoke. Newly promoted Charlton were victorious at Ewood Park on the opening day. Meanwhile, Stoke lost to QPR at the Bet365 Stadium. The odds are at SkyBet. Charlton at 23-10. The draw is at 11-5 and Stoke at 23-20 and are favourites. However, I'm going to go against the bookies here, and I'm going to go with a Charlton 2-0 home victory. Next up is Derby versus Swansea. Both sides came away with victories from their opening day fixture. The odds with SkyBet are Derby at 6-5 and are favourites at Pride Park. The draw is at 23-10 and Swansea are at 21-10. I do think both sides will want to continue their good start to the season, but I think Derby will edge this one at Pride Park. Fulham take on Blackburn at Craven Cottage. Both sides will be disappointed with their opening day display. Fulham are at 7-10 and are favourites in this one. I'm confident they will come away with a win, and I think they're going to smash Blackburn, I'm afraid, Rovers fans. I'm going to go with a 4-0 Fulham victory in this one. Middlesbrough take on Brentford at the Riverside, and a lack of clinicality could be an issue for Brentford as they take on a very good Borough side. I think, although Borough are favourites, it's going to be a close game. Brentford at 9-5, Borough are at 7-5, and I think it will finish as a 2-0 Borough victory. So next up at Deepdale, this one at 3 PM still, is Preston versus Wigan. Wigan got a shock win at home to Cardiff on the opening day, and Preston lost to Millwall. Preston are favourites, and I can see it finishing 0-0 at Deepdale in this one. QPR entertain Huddersfield. They're looking strong from what I can see, and Huddersfield look like improvement is needed after they lost 2-1 to Derby on Monday. QPR are favourites, and I have to agree, Mark Warburton's side will come away with a 2-0 victory in my opinion. Barnsley got a shock victory against Fulham in matchday 1. Meanwhile, Wednesday romped to victory at the Madejski Stadium against Reading. The odds with SkyBet are 23-20 for Sheffield Wednesday, 9-4 for the draw, and 9-4 for Barnsley. And I cannot see any other result than a Wednesday win in this one, and I have to go with a 3-1 Wednesday victory. Okay then, so let's get started with the League 1 fixtures now. All of these games are 3 PM kickoffs. Starting off with Bolton Wanderers versus Coventry City. Bolton are currently going through major financial struggles, but unlike Bury, are able to fulfil their fixtures this season. Coventry are currently ground sharing Birmingham City as well, as troubles with their owners continue. But the odds for this one with Sky Bet is Bolton at 19-4, the draw is at 3-1, but Coventry are as favourites at 8-15. Bolton have a very inexperienced side, and I feel they'll be brushed aside by Cov, and I'm afraid it will end 4-0 Coventry. Bristol Rovers play Wycombe on Saturday. Rovers lost to Blackpool on the opening day, and Wycombe beat struggling Bolton 2-0. Cocker's Rovers have made very good signings this summer. Rovers are favourites at 11-10 in this one. I think Rovers will edge a 2-1 win in this fixture. Fleetwood versus Wimbledon. Fleetwood are massive favourites in this one. With players like Hunter and Evans, it's not hard to see why. I'm going to go 3-0 Fleetwood purely because the vast gap in quality between the two sides. Gillingham versus Burton Albion up next. Gillingham have made some great transfers in this summer transfer window and drew with Donny on the opening day, and Burton lost 1-0 to Ipswich in a close encounter. Burton are the favourites for this one, however I see Gillingham winning this one. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Gillingham win for Steve Evans' men. Next up is our game of the day between Ipswich and Sunderland. Possibly the two best sides in the league, playing each other so early in the year is set up for a cracker. It will be a tight game, and the bookies have stayed Sunderland as favourites at 6-4. I have to say that a draw is what it looks like for me, and I'm going 1-1, meaning Sunderland will not win that in their opening two fixtures. Shrewsbury got a shock winning against Pompey in their opening encounter of the season, with a screamer from Giles being the difference between the two sides. MK lost star striker Anike in the window to Championship Charlton, but MK are still favourites for this clash at 23-20. However, I see a Shrewsbury win on the cards in this one, so I'm going to go with 2-1 to the Shrews. Oxford have had a cracking transfer window, and Peterborough are a strong side as well, but Oxford are favourites to win this fixture. So I am expecting a tight game, but Oxford will edge this encounter, coming out with a 1-0 victory. I am expecting Pompey to run riot against Tranmere this weekend. Although they lost to Shrewsbury on the opening day, that was definitely an unlucky defeat. Tranmere, on the other hand, did fall a defeat on the opening day as well. Theirs was more deserved than unlucky. The bookies have Pompey as favourites in this one, and I would have to agree with them. I'm going to go with a 3-0 Pompey victory this Saturday at Fratton Park. Doncaster are clear favourites for this clash, and it's not hard to see why. The quality their side contains is head and shoulders above Rochdale, and I can see them coming away with a win in this one. As do the bookies, I'm saying 3-1. This game has the potential to be an almighty goal fest, with two goal-scoring strikers in John Akinde and Freddie Ladapo. If they are both on top form today, there are going to be a lot of goals in this fixture, that's for certain. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. However, the bookies have Rotherham as favourites in this one, and if it had to go either way, I wouldn't be surprised if the Millers do come away with all 3 points. Southend sent Argyle down the last few minutes of their game last season, but I've definitely forgotten about that. Moving on, Southampton lost in Birmingham on the weekend as they play Coventry City. Meanwhile, Blackpool beat Bristol Rovers at Bloomfield Road 2-0. The favourites in this game are Blackpool, and I'd have to agree with the bookies on this one. I have Blackpool as favourites to go up via the playoffs in League One this season, and I think that they're going to come away with a 3-1 victory at Roots Hall on Saturday. Okay then, so let's kick off the League 2 preview with Bradford versus Grimsby, or Grimsby versus Bradford, as Grimsby are at home. The Bantams will be travelling in their numbers to this one with, I believe, nearly 2,000 fans travelling to Blundell Park. They'll want to see a more clinical display than on the opening day, meanwhile Grimsby will want to carry on in the same vein. The bookies have Bradford's favourites, and I'm not surprised. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Bantams victory. Cambridge versus Newport is next up, and Newport started the season with a mission to go one step further than last season. 10 men Cambridge held on desperately for a point of Valley Parade against Bradford on match day 1. I have to agree with SkyBet again on this one. Newport are their favourites at 6-4, and I also believe Newport will be triumphant on Saturday, but I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory. Crawley plays Salford, and Salford kicked off the SkyBet League 2 campaign against Stevenage on Saturday lunchtime, coming out on top. Crawley began their campaign making a long trek to Cumbria, take on Carlisle, losing 2-1 and suffering a red card. Salford are unsurprisingly favourites in this clash, and I also have to say that they will come out eventual winners. I'm going with a 2-1 Salford victory this Saturday. Next up is Cheltenham versus Scunthorpe. Cheltenham lost at Brisbane Road last weekend as the two sides, Leyton Orient and Cheltenham, met to remember Leyton Orient legend Justin Edinburgh. Scunthorpe also suffered defeat, this time at home to Swindon, and the result was 2-0. The odds with the bookies are rather close, to be fair. However, Scunthorpe edge it at 7-4. I think this may end as a draw though. I'm going to go with 0-0 in this one. Most likely this will be disappointing though to the Scunthorpe fans. Macclesfield hosts Leyton Orient, and like I said in the last one, Leyton Orient remembered Justin Edinburgh in fantastic fashion with a 1-0 win on their return to the EFL after winning the National League last season. Macclesfield fell to a late defeat to the Grecians, or better known as Exeter City, in match day 1. SkyBet have Orient as favourites, and it's not really surprising, is it? Orient stand at 7-5, and ultimately I cannot see this game going any other way but an Orient win. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Orient victory. Mansfield take on Morecambe in the next one we're going to be looking at. I think this is the first time that I'm going to go with a home side victory this weekend in League 2, despite the Stags losing to Newport last weekend. Morecambe fell defeat at home to Grimsby last weekend as well. The odds for this one have Mansfield as favourites at 8-13. I have to say the Stags are rightful favourites, and I see a 3-0 victory for the Stags this weekend. Oldham host Crewe in match day 2. The Railway men suffered a 3-0 defeat at Gresty Road as Ryan Lowe began his reign as Plymouth Argyle manager. Having witnessed that game first hand, it gives me a better knowledge to make a prediction for this one. Oldham also lost last weekend, but away to Forest Green. Both Oldham and Crewe are both at 8-5 on Saturday to win. However, I'm going to go with a Crewe victory. I reckon I'm going to go 1-0. It's going to be a tight one, that one. But Argyle Colchester's the next game to predict, and Ryan Lowe's Argyle side, like I just said, won 3-0 at Gresty Road in front of a 1,600 following from the Green Army. Colchester picked up a point against Port Vale at home on match day 1 as well. Argyle are favourites at 21-20, and deservedly so. For me, with Colchester losing Schmodix, they're not as threatening as in previous seasons. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Plymouth Argyle victory at Home Park. Port Vale host Northampton in matchday 2. As I just said when providing a brief summary on Colchester, Port Vale earned a point on the road in their opening outing. Northampton have had a busy window but lost 1-0 at home to a strong Walsall side on the opening day. Port Vale are favourites for this one, however I'm going to have to go against the bookies and go for a 2-1 Cobblers victory. Stevenage host Exeter, and Stevenage fell to defeat against EFL newcomers Salford last weekend, meanwhile Exeter beat Macclesfield in the 88th minute. Personally, I see Stevenage as the stronger of the two sides, although Exeter have done some decent business in the window. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw, which on SkyBet the draw is at 2-1. Swindon take on Carlisle at the county ground, and both sides have got off to a great start to their seasons, winning 2-0 and 2-1 respectively. Swindon are favourites, and I presume this is because they are the home side. I personally don't see too much between the two sides. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. And finally, Walsall take on Forest Green Rovers. Walsall and Forest Green will both be trying for playoffs this season, and I am sure of that. Both sides won 1-0 on the opening day and are looking promising going into the new season, but for this fixture, Walsall are favourites. However, I think the draw is the most likely outcome, so I'm going to go with a 2-2 as the final result. Okay then lad, thank you very much for watching our first ever episode of EFL Preview. If you did enjoy this upload, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. But until next time, keep it green.